Hare Hare Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Govinda Gopinath Madan Mohan Jiu Ki Jai. Shri Radha Gokulananda Radha Shyam Sundar Radha Raman Radha Damodar Jiu Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Padasthatara Sata Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Padasthatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Padasthatara Sata Shri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Padasthatara Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Padasthatara Sata Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Mahabhagavad Srila Gaurkishore Das Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Srila Sachidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Vaishnav Sarvabhaum Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sada Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Srila Surup Damodar Roy Ramanandari Gaura Parsada Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Madhavendra Puripada Ki Jai. Shri Ishwara Puripada Ki Jai. Jai Shri Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dvarashavanatmaka Shri Braj Mandala Dham Ki Jai. Shyam Kunda Radha Kunda Yamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Giriraj Govardhan Maharaj Ki Jai. Rantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Jiu Ki Jai. Bhakti Vigna Vinashana Shri Nrsinga Deva Ki Jai. Bhakta Pravara Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charodam Charu Sampradaya Charu Acharya Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Tribhuvana Pavana Harinam Samkirtana Ki Jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai. Sachinandan Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Nityananda Mahajana Ki Jai. Shri Panchatattva Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nitai Gaur Premanandi Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyascha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Bhangam Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Mahavajanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namani Gaura Chise Nama He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vrindai Tulsi Debai Priyai Keshavasya Cha Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi Satyavachai Namo Namaha. Panchatattvatmakam Krishnam Bhakta Rupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Pad, Ashto Tarasata, Sri Srila A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, our beloved Srila Prabhupada. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams, my Shraddha Pushpanjali at the lotus feet of my beloved Siksha Gurudevs, Nityalila Pravishta Om Vishnu Padasto Tarasata, Sri Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And Nityalila Pravishtom Vishnu Padasto Tarasata Sri Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to the lotus feet of all my Shri Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga. And I'm offering my Dandavat Pranams to all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis in this auspicious assembly in Eugene. What was the nickname for Eugene? Eugene. Yes. Very happy to be here. And again, see the auspicious faces of my God brothers, God sisters, and very dear, intimate friends here in Eugene. I like this place a lot because of this. Because there's so many sweet devotees here who have proven their sincerity for decades. That they want Krishna Bhakti in their lives. So I feel very benefited when I can sit in the presence of all these sincere Vaishnavas. So many that I've known even for 44 years. Yeah. 44 years, 42 years, 40 years, 30 years. So I'm blessed. And always we discuss some very satisfying spiritual topics when we come here. Because it is a matter of the audience. Speaker is one thing, but audience is another. And the audience draws from the speaker. So I don't consider that I'm giving the Harikatha. I'm being inspired by the listeners to remember what I've heard from my gurus. And to try to go more deeply into the subject matters. Because it's like swimming in an unlimited depth of ocean. All this transcendental, wonderful Siddhanta and spiritual truths. So this is what we want in our life. We want to relish this nectar. When I think of that, I always think of how Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj lived in his latter years and what he expressed about his own life. And he said, my life is very simple. I sit here in Navadvip Dham and I relish the conclusions of the previous acharyas. I taste and relish. This is a Rasik Vaishnava, Rasik. Because all the shlokas, all the conclusions, everything, it is just unfolding waves and waves of nectar. And their hearts are inundated by this nectar. And when we sit in their presence, we can feel this sweetness that they're swimming in. We're hoping to get a few little droplets of nectar on our heads as the waves crash in their hearts. Spray. Mist. Srila Gurudev always liked to use the term nectar sprinkles, sprinkles of nectar. And when we were with him in his first tour to Australia in 1997, just beginning of 97, January, there the lectures that he gave, it was decided that we should produce those lectures in a form of a little booklet. So Shamrani Didi was there, and she had the beginning stages of her crew of helpers that accomplished so many amazing things. So on that very tour, before we even left Australia, we produced those lectures in the form of a small, very cheaply printed booklet. Can't really call it a book, like a booklet. And the title was Nectar Sprinkles on Australia.
Was it a little blue cover?
Huh?
Was it a blue cover?
I don't know. It was black and white, I think. It was just very cheap printing. Okay, and then combined with his lectures of his first tour here in America, where he landed in Houston, and then he came to Los Angeles, and perhaps even including some lectures that he gave in Holland and England. He was discussing the subject matter of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita and the purpose, the reason for Mahaprabhu's descent, and gradually going through those first 4 chapters and coming to the 4th chapter, where the primary reason for Mahaprabhu's descent is discussed in the 4th chapter of Adi Lila, and based upon the verse which is quoted by Krishnadas Kaviraj in the first invocation verses, and that 4th chapter is specifically going deeply into this verse. Krishnadas Kaviraj is unfolding this. And I always remember how Srila Gurudev would emphasize that 4th chapter, that if you want to read Chaitanya Charitamrita and you don't understand that 4th chapter, then you cannot understand the whole book. Because why? Because it is describing the primary reason for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's descent. And he also had secondary reasons. So Krishnadas Kaviraj has clearly shown primary, secondary. And that was the very main subject that Srila Gurudev wanted to convey. So when he lectured on that section, the verse of Swarup Damodar Goswami, where he tells the 3 reasons why Sri Krishna appeared as in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. 3 reasons. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Hidrisho Vanayaiva Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Hidrisho Vamadiya Sokyam Chasyam Mad Anubhavata Hidrisham Veti Lobhat Tad Bhavadya Samajani Sachigarbha Sindo Harindu. So this beautiful shlok, which somehow I learned by repeating it again and again years ago, it shows clearly why Krishna appeared in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the main reason? And that was to satisfy his desire, because his desire is the primary purpose and the cause of all causes. So Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima. What is the glory? What is the greatness? What is the all-inclusive expansiveness of Srimati Radhika's praying. Krishna wanted to understand this because he was astonished when he would observe Srimati Radhika's ecstatic manifestations. That's all vividly described in that 4th chapter, step by step. Krishnadas Kaviraj beautifully unfolds this tattva, Radha tattva. And Swadyo Yena Adbhuta Madhurima Kidrisho Vamadya. He wanted to understand what is the taste of the sweetness that Srimati Radhika experiences through her love for Shri Krishna. How and to what extent is she experiencing and tasting my sweetness? Krishna is wondering. And third, Sokyam. Sokyam chasya mad anubhavata hidrisham veti lobhat. Desiring to understand what is the supreme happiness, Sokyam, through her manifestations, through her realization of Sri Krishna's sweetness, of Sri Krishna's beautiful form, of Sri Krishna's pastimes, of Sri Krishna's name. What kind of happiness? Krishna observes that her happiness is millions of times greater than mine. And I'm supposed to be the one who experiences the topmost happiness, because who am I? I'm the reservoir of all rasa. I'm ecstasy personified. So I'm wondering why it is that I'm not experiencing what she's experiencing. How is that? She's experiencing millions of times more than me. Krishna thinks, he ponders very deeply about this. We can't estimate, because the Supreme Being is far, far beyond our ability to comprehend. The personality from whom all the universes emanate. The person who's created everything. The person who is the center of all existence. But yet he is wondering, what is that? I can't comprehend it. My mind is racing to try to grasp it, to try to taste it. Krishnadas Kaviraj says, Krishna's mind races. Racing. How can I taste that? But, of course, Krishna will not be frustrated in his attempt. He will get what he desires. But there's a certain way that he has to get it. And he understands. He comes to the conclusion, okay, now I understand that I am the object of everyone's praying. I'm in that position. I'm the Vishai. Vishai, just like in the material world, all the objects of our sense gratification are called Vishai. So Krishna is the supreme object, the Vishai Bhagavan, the Vishai Tattva, to whom all devotees direct their loving, ecstatic moods. And he tastes that. As who? As Vishai Bhagavan. So he understands that if I want to comprehend and experience the ecstasy that Srimati Radhika tastes in me, the only way that I can do this is if I actually take her position. I have to change my position. And I have to become her. And she is known as Ashray Bhagavan. Ashray meaning shelter, or the abode where this praying is residing. Ashray. So, when Sri Krishna understands this, Then he comes to the conclusion, by understanding the supremacy of Srimati Radhika's prema, by understanding her nearly impossible ability to taste the depth, the end limit of Krishna's sweetness. End limit. Krishna's sweetness is unlimited, but she goes that far. No one else can go there, only her. And the ecstasy, the happiness. So, that's a beautiful subject matter. Srila Gurudev then told that some people say that Sri Krishna, being the supreme expert thief of all thieves, that he stole Srimati Radhika's prema and her golden color. It may even be written like that in some verses of the Acharyas. But Srila Gurudev liked to depict Krishna in a much more humble manner, because he's approaching someone that he'll have to submit to. And Sri Krishna likes to submit to her. He likes it when Srimati Radhika is fully predominating over him and controlling him. When she's in that mood, the technical term in rasa language, rasa tattva language, is Swadhin Bhartrika. Swadhin. Independently supreme. And Krishna loves this. So when he comes to the lotus feet of Srimati Radhika, as we see in various paintings, especially the Seva Kunj painting, very humbly, in a very mood of begging, then Srimati Radhika, she tells to Krishna, is how Gurudev told, oh, you are my dear most beloved. Certainly, I want to give you access to this. But this is an unfamiliar area to you. You are not, you do not know when you go into this unlimited ocean what will happen to you. What will be the reactions. So I know that when you try to experience this, that your body will be torn apart. This prema of mine, it is too violent and extreme. So I cannot tolerate that your body will always be dashed to the ground and covered with dust. Therefore, I will cover you from your head to your toes with my very own self. I will cover you with my golden color, which is my very prema, my Mahabhav prema. I will cover you. So in this way, Tat-bhavadya samajani sachigarva sindho hindu. That Krishna, that Shyama Sundar appeared in the womb of Mother Sachi and arose from that ocean of the womb of Mother Sachi in this golden color, just as the moon arises from the ocean. When the moon rises, full moon, and it comes up from the ocean. He came from the ocean of Mother Sachi's womb in the form of Gauranga. So this kind of topic, full of so much nectar, Srila Gurudev chose to speak on that topic when he came to the West. Because he wanted to now bring all the devotees to the next stage of their development of bhakti. So in order to do that, he had to bring them to the lotus feet of our previous acharyas, who are unfolding all of this bhakti siddhanta. And this Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is the end limit. End limit. It must be appreciated to understand this. How great is that literature? When we hear statements by Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj, who would tell that in his old age, my Guru Maharaj, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he simply liked to hear and read and taste and relish Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Srila Sridhar Maharaj said, there is no book that has ever seen the light of day as this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Can we imagine how high are these literatures of our acharyas? And this was given by Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, to the whole world in his amazing translation. And somehow or other, he gave these inconceivable topics in Antya Lila, describing all the conclusions of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, this whole line of Rupa Nuga Vaishnavism, all this Siddhanta. So in our lives, this is required by us. If we want to be successful and go as far as we can in this life, we'll have to go there. Therefore, Srila Gurudev came and said, now you go here. And he opened up Chaitanya Charitamrita and went through the whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, giving an overview year after year after year. Then he went into Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat and added all those conclusions of Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur. And then he opened up 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, the conclusion. And then he began to unfold the Rasa Tattva literatures of our acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhajan Rahasya, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, so many others. So like this, this subject matter was put together in a book. Both the lectures from Australia, the Nectar Sprinkle lectures, and his other introductory lectures here in America, and one book with the title, The Pinnacle of Devotion. The Pinnacle. See? So, I'm trying to remember from where I began. How I went in this direction. Okay, so...
Because the waves are inundating their heart.
The what?
The waves are inundating their heart, and
Yes,
they want to
yes.
spray.
Yeah.
We were talking about the nectar, the sprinkles of nectar.
Nectar sprinkles, yeah. So, and how we should try to become familiar with these nectar sprinkles. Srila Gurudev very much emphasized Srimad Bhagavatam. All of you know how many times, every festival, and he would introduce everyone to the different upakyans, the different narrations of Srimad Bhagavatam. But always he would direct you, okay, this is important, but you have to do the follow-up then. We have to do the follow-up, meaning that he gives you entrance into that, now you go there and you study it, you see. So our whole life, whatever is remaining of this life, can simply be doing that. All the different commentaries, going deeply into Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. We've got a lot of work to do, homework. And actually, there's one very nice purport in the second chapter of the first canto for one of the verses. Maybe maybe Shushu Sho Shadadanasya Vasudeva Kataruchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra Punya Tirtani Sevana. There's a couple of other verses in that section. And at one point, Srila Prabhupada, he says, the serious student of the Absolute Truth is always overwhelmed by the task of researching the truth. Always overwhelmed. Because you don't find yourself nearing the end of your studies. It becomes more overwhelming all the time, because the more that you go, the farther away you realize that you are from the end and how unlimited it is. Isn't it? Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, which we've read in our early days, hundreds, maybe thousands of classes, Bhagavad Gita, so many sitting here, night after night, year after year, memorizing different verses. But have we understood it? Have we really deeply understood? I remember Srila Prabhupada said, if you actually understand even one shlok of Bhagavad Gita, you'll become fully self-realized. You'll become fully Krishna conscious. And there's so many shloks. The final shloks, in LA recently I was actually reading, I was picking the subject matter of the two conclusive shlokas of Sri Krishna and Gita. Right? What is that? Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishyami ma shuchaha. And manmana bhavamad bhakto vaishasi satyam te pratijane priyosate. Which one comes first?
The second one.
Manmana. Okay. So of these two, which one is better? But in this world, most people think that which one is better? Sarva dharman parityajya.
Can you explain just those two verses real quick for the new devotees?
Yes. Okay. I'm one of those new devotees. I have to try to understand this better. So actually what I did, in order to kind of go into that, I took out Srila Gurudev's book, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj's beautiful book taken from his lectures on the verse Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto. The title of that book is called The Nectar of Govinda Leela. Right? So there the first chapter, he begins to explain these two verses. So, when Krishna is speaking the Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra 5,000 years ago, have you read any of the Bhagavad Gita at all?
Yes.
Right now.
Okay, wonderful. Very good. So that conversation, that holy conversation between Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appeared on this earth with his devotees. And this particular devotee, Arjuna was the greatest warrior, called Kshatriya. And if you want to understand how great of a Kshatriya he was, how great of a warrior, you can read an entire great epic called the Mahabharata. Your hairs will stand on end when you read about the battles that were waged between such great warriors. The world has never seen such personalities. One great warrior could fight against 100,000 persons. And like nowadays in martial arts, they like to show that one person can deal with 20 or 30 others, but deal with 100,000 others.
What were they called when they could?
Well, there's Maharati, which is 10,000. Then there's Atirati, 100,000. and then there's another. So there were a few of these personalities on the battlefield, and that's why it took 18 days. Because these persons would fight against one another, and it would go from morning till evening. So anyway, it's very interesting discussion, because at the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, the battle is about to begin and the armies are lined up. But if you want to understand what led up to the battle, then you have to read the Mahabharata and understand the whole history. How it was attempt after attempt to avoid this. In every possible way. Even the Supreme Absolute Lord himself made his attempt. But fate is always used in the Mahabharata. Destiny. Destiny. It had to happen. Fate. So even though the Supreme Controller of fate is there, and even he's trying to attempt to convince the opposite party, but it's not to be. But that's also his will, and he also knows that. So when finally Arjuna, after a unfolding saga of hardships and struggles through their life, great, great royal personalities, emperors of the world, rightful heirs to the throne of the entire rulership of the earth planet, and they are usurped unlawfully. So this whole saga now comes to the battlefield, where the armies have lined up on both sides, because they were very civilized in their fighting in those days. They didn't attack at night with some kind of, airplanes dropping bombs on innocent people. No, they chose a place, and now bring your best, we'll bring our best, and we'll see who wins. Very civilized. So civilized that even though they were enemies, and during the daytime, they're going to contend in battle and kill one another. But at night, when the sun sets, the conch shell blows and the battle stops. And then they go back to their camps, those who are still standing. And they nourish themselves and they take care of their wounds and so forth. And they also sometimes come to one another's camps. And they dine together. This is civilization. So, Arjuna was very overwhelmed by the mood of lamentation and deep, deep sorrow at the beginning of the battle, because for the first time he's looking across at who has assembled now. And who does he see there? He sees the persons in his life who have been to him the most innocent, the most well-wishing benefactors. Persons who are his grandfathers, his uncles, his teachers, his cousins, his relatives, his friends. And he will have to fight and kill them. And at that point, the discussion opens up, where Arjuna tells Krishna, who has agreed not to fight in the battle, because if Krishna fought in the battle, it wouldn't last very long. But he agreed not to fight. But he said, I will drive the chariot of my devotee Arjuna. So the chariot drivers are important in the battle. And Krishna became a servant, because the chariot driver is actually subservient to the warrior who's shooting the arrows and sending weapons in all directions. So Krishna agreed to take that subservient position with his pure devotee. And in one sense, it's also described that this chariot is like our body in this world. And Arjuna is representing the soul who is battling against all the forces of this material world. And Krishna is the driver. Because actually Krishna is the driver. Our body is just a machine, which he describes in his conversation with Arjuna. That our body is just a machine made of the material energy. And the soul is the eternal conscious being situated in the heart, which is operating the machine. But there is a superior soul also situated within our heart, and he's called Paramatma, the super soul. And actually he's directing everything. But the living beings in this material world have forgotten him. They're not aware, not conscious. So in this case, the actual true situation is Krishna is now driving the chariot of Arjuna. But Krishna is also following the instructions of Arjuna. Before the battle, Arjuna says, O Keshava, O Krishna, please drive my chariot into the middle of the battlefield. Because there's a big gap between both sides. And I want to see who has come here. So when he comes there, and he sees that, now he begins to speak. And his expressions are filled with so much regret and lamentation. He becomes very overwhelmed that, how can I fight? How will it be possible for me to fight against them? This will be a very great sin if I kill them. And even if we can conquer in this battlefield against them, if we win the battle and we gain the entire kingdom, what good will it be? Everything will be tainted with their blood. Oh, I cannot fight. It is better that I should live by begging than to live at the cost of these great souls who are worshipable by me. And he gave so many different arguments according to Dharma Shastra, because Dharma is a very significant word. You'll have to learn the meaning of this word, Dharma. But it sometimes is translated as duty. In this material world, there are many different duties. And Arjuna is trying to say that this duty is acceptable. This is religious. This is good. But this one, this is sinful. This is bad. What will be the reaction? We will have to suffer. Because whenever you do adharma, when you do sinful activities, irreligious, not following the orders of the Vedas and the Supreme Lord, then the result of that is degradation and suffering. So, Sri Krishna, in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, after the discussion continues, Krishna actually reveals the very purpose for which he descends into this material world. And he says there, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya tadatmanam shrijamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in dharma. Dharmasya glani means when dharma has now become diminished. And abhyutanam adharmasya. And the opposite, adharma, irreligion, has risen up. Then, at that time, I descend and I manifest myself. This is one cause for the Supreme Being coming into this material world. Abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrijami aham. Shrijami, I manifest. He's not forced to come. He voluntarily comes and he accepts this task. And then when he accepts this task of coming, what does he do? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha duskrita. He does two things. Those who are the sadhus, saintly persons, who follow the path of Dharma in this world, they become oppressed by the demoniac forces of this world. They become oppressed in so many ways. There are innumerable histories of this throughout the Vedas. Innumerable. Of the war between good and evil. Dharma and adharma. Divine and demoniac. So when they become oppressed, then Krishna says, Vinayashaya cha duskritam. Those persons, I vanquish them. Dharma samstapanartaya. And I establish Dharma again. Every incarnation establishes Dharma. Because without Dharma, the living entities in this material world, they will go down and they will remain in this world of repeated birth and death, indefinitely. But if they follow the path of Dharma, they will become elevated and advanced, and gradually they will gain release from the suffering of birth and death in this material world, and they will gain their eternal birthright of their soul. Eternal spiritual existence in the transcendental world full of bliss and knowledge. That is the mission of the Lord. Dharma samstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. And he comes yuga after yuga to do this. So now he's here on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and Arjuna, his great devotee, is undergoing this confusion. What should I do? And finally he comes to the conclusion that I don't know what is good for me. I don't know what to do. I'm confused about my duty. And I've lost all composure because of weakness. So now I'm asking you, O Krishna, please tell me what is best for me. Now I am your disciple. Shishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam. I'm your disciple. I'm surrendering to you. Please instruct me. That is the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita. So Sri Krishna, who is standing on the chariot, and Arjuna, who is sitting there with his bow, his great Gandiva bow, which is famous throughout the universe, given to him by Lord Shiva himself. Anyone who has that bow, they cannot be conquered. But the bow slips from his hand, and Arjuna sits on the chariot. So now Krishna smiles. And he says to Arjuna, because actually Krishna is Arjuna's friend, but now Arjuna is becoming the disciple. And when someone becomes the disciple and takes that position, then the guru now interacts with that person to benefit them. And how do they benefit that person? By removing their illusion. And that removal process is sometimes by harsh words. Yes. I was reflecting the other day how even in this world, like in military life, if a person is brought into the military as a newcomer, what are they called when they first come in?
A new bhakta?
No. Yeah, they have different different terms for the new recruit. But when they land in the boot camp, and they come out of the bus from wherever they've come in their past, then what happens? They meet their opponent. Yes. And that opponent immediately attacks them. Immediately
tells them, your mama can't help you now.
Right. And he lines them up. Yeah? And starts dismantling what? Their very conception of who they are. Who they think they are. And he uses very harsh words. words. But it's not just words. Then there's a good 6 weeks of getting completely crushed in every possible way. Okay? So, it's like a perverted reflection of the relationship between guru and disciple. Because that guy, that sergeant, he's just doing this as a job. But guru is different because guru is the supreme friend. Supreme friend. Because he wants to give the jiva soul what is the ultimate benefit, ultimate gain, paramartha. Paramartha, the highest attainment that any person can gain. That's what Guru wants to give to the disciple. And Sri Guru is a manifestation of God himself. How is that? Because that is the potency of Bhagavan, called the Guru Tattva. Sri Krishna himself can expand into unlimited selves. And his first expansion is called Baladev. And that Baladev is the source of all spiritual power. He is the original Guru. And his manifestation in the unlimited universes manifests as Guru Tattva. So when there is a great devotee in this world, great devotee, and he accepts this responsibility to deliver the souls in this material world, then that qualified person accepts this potency of Guru Tattva, the principle of Guru, and that is non-different than God himself. Because only he, only the Supreme Lord, can actually deliver the fallen jiva souls of this world. Only he can do that. But he does it through the agency of the great Vaishnava, pure devotee in this world. So now on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, that Supreme Lord himself is present and speaking himself. And now he is taking the position of Guru because Arjuna has found himself to be in a dilemma that he cannot overcome on his own. That is like us, isn't it? In this material world. How capable are we? How knowledgeable are we in this world? When we think about our life in this world, when we take our birth from the womb of our mother, what do we know at that time? Nothing. Completely helpless. Completely helpless. We have no spiritual knowledge at all. We have no knowledge of anything. We can't even express what we want. But as we grow, our false ego also grows, and we start to think that I'm very capable. I can accomplish so much, I can do so much. But this is an illusion. It is not actually true. Because in your body, you don't even control the functions of your body. Oh, you think that you have so much control, you can do exercises, go to the gym, you can run marathons, you can train, you can... Yeah, but you don't even control the blinking of your eyes. That's going on unconsciously. You don't control the movements of the blood in your body, the beating of your heart, the digestive system.
Breathing.
Yeah, right. So, how much control do you have? The illusion of this material world, this energy called Maya, is the illusory energy of the Supreme Being. And everyone here in this world is under that illusion. So, Arjuna, he took the position, although he's a great realized soul, he's a personal friend of the Supreme Lord. But by the will of Krishna, Krishna wanted to speak this knowledge, not just for Arjuna, but he wanted to speak it for everyone in this world, because everyone belongs to Krishna. They're all his parts and parcels. Mamai vamsha jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. All living beings in this material world are my parts, amshas. So although we are very infinitesimal and atomic in size, but we are eternal. Jiva bhuta sanatana. Sanatana means eternal. So we all belong to Krishna. And Krishna wants us to come to him. Therefore he descended and spoke this Bhagavad Gita, which is eternal, transcendental truth. The absolute truth. When I first came in connection, I'm sure all of you can also remember, that when you first came in connection with this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, coming from a place of not knowing anything, purpose of life, why am I here in this world? Why is everything here? What's the purpose? Where did it come from? Everyone, most human beings, they'll ask these questions at some point. And the big question, why? Why am I suffering? I don't want to suffer. Why does everyone have to die? I don't want to die. But I'm forced. It's a big, big dilemma. Big problem. If someone doesn't know the answers to this, there's no way that they can benefit themselves actually in life. The whole life is wasted, is useless, if they cannot overcome these problems. So Krishna came to teach this knowledge because it is the truth. And it's not just the truth of some religious sect putting up some billboard somewhere and saying, it says in the Bible, such and such, this is the truth. No. This is the truth. The truth that everyone must learn if they want to benefit themselves. There is no other truth than this. And when one learns this, and they submit and say, yes, I accept, then you'll understand how this is the ultimate truth, this is the absolute truth, and there is no other truth besides this. And that is Sri Krishna, the supreme absolute truth himself, coming into this world and giving this knowledge to us through this conversation. That is the importance of Bhagavad Gita, the song of God. God is singing this song, and there's only one God. There's only one supreme being, not two. And he is singing this song on this battlefield. It's called Gita, means song. He actually spoke it and sang it. And it's recorded. 700 verses. And if you study this and you follow this in your life, you'll achieve perfection. Ultimate happiness. Solution to every problem in life. And that is why very great thinkers, for thousands of years, they have appreciated this conversation as being the topmost spiritual knowledge. And even in the Western civilization, Einsteins and great authors, they've appreciated this conversation because it answers all the questions of life. And we can remember, because at one point we didn't know the answers. And suddenly, we heard this knowledge, and then we understood. Now I see what I have to do. Now I see. So that beginning of that conversation, after Arjuna submits to Krishna and takes the position of a disciple, then Sri Krishna smiles. And why is he smiling? Because he's now going to begin the process of enlightening this soul, who is actually his friend. But now he's taken the position of disciple. So Arjuna, I heard what you just told. You gave many different excuses why you cannot fight on this battlefield. You've also posed yourself that you are very, very learned in Dharma, Vedic Dharma knowledge, because you are from the Aryan civilization who follows the Vedas. You are from an exalted lineage of very great personalities. You know Dharma. And you have now tried to give your viewpoint. What is Dharma and what is Adharma? And why you should not fight on this battlefield. But I see one thing here, Arjuna, that you're speaking very learned, like you're a very learned person. Because you're talking, you're telling so many dharmic principles. So you're posing as if you are pundit. You know this word, pundit? It's even in the English vocabulary now. It's a Sanskrit word. And they use it in the media quite often. Pundits means learned persons. Persons who are very knowledgeable in a particular area, right? So in the Vedas, that word pundit means greatly knowledgeable person. So Krishna began boot camp for Arjuna. And he said, Asochan anvasochastvam. Arjuna, you're lamenting for that which is not worthy of lamentation. Asochan anvasochastvam. But at the same time, pragyavadam chabashashe. You're speaking very learned words, Arjuna. Pragyavadams means very learned words you're speaking. But asochan anvasochastvam. You're lamenting for that which is not worthy of lamentation. This is contradictory here. You're posing yourself to be learned and a pundit, Arjuna, but you're acting completely the opposite. Why? Because gatasun agatasums cha nanusochanti pandita. Real pundits, real learned persons, they never lament for anything or anyone in this world, either those who are living or those who have died and passed on. But you're lamenting, Arjuna. You're not a pundit. I can see that. So that was the beginning of the conversation. Chastisement. Chastisement. Because unless the disciple takes that position of complete submission to the perfect spiritual teacher, Sri Guru, and accepts everything that they say without any question and doubt, they cannot be a disciple. Because Sri Guru is perfect, realized personality. So unless they accept, they cannot be a disciple. So now the test will come. How much do you accept? Are you a disciple or not? You just said to me, Shishyas te hum. I am now your disciple. Okay, you're my disciple. Now I'm going to test you. You're a fool! You're acting like you're learned, but you're a fool. That's actually what Krishna told Arjuna. But that's all. Then Krishna began to tell Arjuna, Natvevaham jatu nasam, natvam neme janadipa, nachaiva na bhavishyama, sarve vayam atakparam. There was never a time when I did not exist, Arjuna. Nor was there ever a time when you did not exist. Nor all of these millions of soldiers on the battlefield. There was never a time when they did not exist. Nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. That is a very deep truth, is it not? Did we know that when we took birth from the womb of our mother? That I've always existed, I'm eternal. Do we know that? No. Did we learn that when we were in school? No. Was there a single department in the university, if we got that far, which taught us that you're eternal? You're not this physical body. This physical body is not you, but you think it is. But the very first teaching of the Bhagavad Gita is telling this truth. That is why Bhagavad Gita is not a sectarian religious scripture. It is the truth. So our spiritual master, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he brought this Bhagavad Gita to the world. And he called his version Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because that great scripture has been interpreted innumerable times in the wrong way by mental speculators and various philosophers, and they have completely perverted and screwed up the meaning of Krishna's own words. So when Srila Prabhupada came, he named his translation Bhagavad Gita as it is. So now, that conversation of Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters. There are many, many, many subject matters. But there's one conclusion. One final conclusion. After the entire song has been sung. And then Krishna asks Arjuna, Arjuna, have you heard everything that I've spoken? Have you understood everything that I've spoken? Why did Krishna ask Arjuna that? Because if Arjuna, at that point, after hearing the entire presentation, he still had some question or doubt, Krishna was actually prepared to speak the entire Bhagavad Gita again. He was prepared to do that. And then Sri Krishna told Arjuna the essence of all the teachings that he was giving to him. He said, Arjuna, Manmana Bhava Madhubhakto. Always think of me. Become my devotee. Madhyaji, worship me. Mam namaskuru, pay your obeisances to me. Mam evaishyasi satyante, if you do this, I promise you, Satyam means truth. I'm speaking to you Satyam. I'm speaking to you the truth, Arjuna. If you do this, then Mam eva ishyasi, you will come to me. How can we get out of this world of birth and death? How can we approach the supreme destination of our soul? Do these 4 things. Always think of Krishna. Become Krishna's devotee. Because that's your eternal relationship. That's what Krishna teaches in the Gita. That actually all souls are my eternal servants, very dear to me. Accept that you are the servant of the Supreme Lord and become his devotee. Live for him. Worship him. Always offer your pranam and your obeisances to him. And then, what will be the result? Krishna promises. Absolute promise. He'll never break his promise. You'll come to him. Everything will be arranged. How you'll come to him. If that was not true, how in the world did we get to be where we are in our lives? Such a radical shift and change from what we were born into. Because it's true. And it's true for everyone, everywhere, in the whole world. Any country, any race, even any planet in the universe. This one truth. Only one supreme being, and we are his eternal servants. And when we live in this consciousness, then Krishna promises, you will come to me. Because, pratijane priyosime, you are very dear to me. So Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, he taught in this verse that this is the best verse. But the verse that comes after it, many people think that that's the best verse of the Bhagavad Gita, because in that verse, Krishna gives a command, he gives an order. And he says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. You should abandon all other dharmas, all others, and just surrender to me only. Very specific instruction. You can't misinterpret it any other way, but there are people who try to misinterpret it. It's quite clear. If I say to you, bring me a glass of water, what does that mean? It means, bring a glass of water to me.
With lemon,
quite simple.
With lemon squeezed in it?
Change it up a little bit.
First you have to understand to whom. Then you have to understand to bring real water. But it's really quite clear. But there are false scholars and philosophers who have misinterpreted this instruction, the conclusion of Krishna's Bhagavad Gita, and they say, oh, Krishna doesn't mean that you should surrender to him. He means that you should surrender to the unborn, the unlimited absolute that is within him. Not to him, not to the person who's speaking, but to the unborn within him. Is that a correct understanding? But they have promoted this misunderstanding in India especially, and it's come to the West as well.
They'll understand that.
So, this is called Mayavad. We won't explain that in detail.
That's another hour or two.
Yeah. So, but there are so many deviations. Even in the realm of perfect knowledge, there will be those who will misconstrue it. and they will change it according to their understanding. So that happens in the material world. That is why, to understand the actual meaning of Krishna's words, we have to go to those persons who have fully understood. And that is called Guru Parampara, the disciplic succession of gurus, spiritual teachers who are perfectly realized. So, that verse, Sarvadharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja, Krishna is telling clearly, Arjuna, give up all other duties and dharmas that you think that you have that are of utmost importance for you. Just abandon them and surrender to me only. And if you do this, aham tvam sarvapapebhyo moksha ishyami. I will free you from all sinful reactions, all karma. This is very important because we're bound in this material world, life after life. Why are we taking birth? Life after life. Why are we suffering? Because of all of our past karmas, all of our sinful reactions, and pious karma as well. Pious actions. We reap the result and we have to take this material body and remain within this world. Krishna says, if you surrender to me and you abandon all other, I promise you, I will free you from all reactions. Do not fear. That's his instruction. Ma suchaha. Don't worry and don't fear. So this is a verse commanding everyone to surrender. Sharanagati. Surrender to that Supreme Lord. Right? But Srila Gurudev says, this is not the best verse, although many people think that this is the final instruction of Krishna in the Gita. But actually the verse before it, which we just quoted, Manmana, think of me. He said, this is the fruits of that surrender. When you surrender, then what happens? What do you gain? This verse is the fruit of that surrender. So then when one understands this, then you can begin on the pathway of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord, Krishna, which is called Bhakti Yoga, which is the highest process of attainment of the Supreme Being. Full God realization through bhakti. The conclusion of all the Vedic knowledge. And then you can come into the life of Srimad Bhagavatam, the great final scripture of all Vedic knowledge. Srimad Bhagavatam, the king, the Grantha Raj, the king of all Shastras, of all spiritual literatures, which our gurus have given to us and they have revealed to the world. So, this is the teaching of Gita, and our Gurudev gave lecture on those verses. And it's very interesting to see how he illustrates those 4 things, what you have to do. And he gives a lecture for each one of those 4 instructions of Sri Krishna. If you like, we can also read that in the coming days. Nice subject matter, and we can study. What is Sharanagati? What is actual surrender? And what is actual bhakti? How to do bhakti to Sri Krishna. So I'm offering my unlimited Dandavat pranams to the lotus feet of our most benevolent Sri Guru, Guru Parampara, all of our spiritual masters coming down from Sri Krishna 5,000 years ago, who have conveyed this message to the world and are benefiting all the fallen souls of this world, especially our very own self. And so, my Dandavat pranams to all my Sri Rupa Nirgata. All glories to Bhagavan Sri Krishna Chandra ki jai, Sri Arjuna ki jai. Shri Granthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki
Jai.
Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki
Jai.
Samveda Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanande Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripasindhuvecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So you can also, those who are newer, can also feel free to, it's late now, but can feel free to come and ask questions and open up discussion, because Bhagavad Gita should be studied like a seminar, like a course. And then so much, light will come, and we can learn how to apply it in our lives. So I'm welcoming, while I'm here, and there's also so many senior devotees here, who are very learned and knowledgeable in this Bhagavad Gita and all of this transcendental science.
Hare Krishna, Krishna